All right. Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Woo! Okay. Sending out a little reminder to Instagram and Facebook. Oh, yeah. Got a lot to tell you. Up to date. Getting you up to date. Just checking here. Good. All right. We can see Crom's boot on Instagram. All right, everybody. Um, got some great news. This will just go away. What the hell's going on here? There you go. All right. I just checked my email. The final proof is on its way. Expected to see it today. Today is the 21st of November, 2025. I am very anxious because we're rounding the corner where this thing is out there, alive, and going wild. CROM Anthology #1. So tentatively, I am announcing this, but Lord only knows in the journey that we've had for the last year and 2 months, things can change. Everything with this proof, is really, predicated on all the changes I had made based on their suggestions. That's Lulu's suggestions. Coming through. Now, I have a lot of trust and faith in Lulu, and I've been dealing with them since 2018. So have very, very little rocky roads. If any, they are always there at the other end and, working with me to get these things together. So today I am going to spend some time really going through and praising the collaborators. I've been noticing a lot of comments on my social media that people are assuming that this 256-page black and white magazine style Sword and Sorcery goodness is all me, and it's absolutely not. And I cannot express and stress the fact that I have been blessed with some amazing creators and some amazing individuals that took some chances, not only with me or just themselves, putting themselves out there. So I really going to spend the next hour going through and really giving a spotlight to who's in here, and in all honesty, why you should buy a copy of CROM Anthology #1. Now, tomorrow morning, I will be putting out the last newsletter. So if you are not on the newsletter, which means you have not gone to CROM the Barbarian and put your name in that first page where it says join the newsletter, you're going to miss the secret link to the pre-ordering page and the steep discount code. These will be stopped Monday morning, if all goes well with the artist proof, because then it will go live to the world. CROM Anthology will be released on that this coming Monday, and it will be for 1 solid week. I will be doing a campaign to promote and get it out there. So it's just one of those things where, just really excited. So if you are not on the newsletter, you're going to be missing out on the secret link to the pre-ordering page and that steep discount code. Come Sunday night, Monday morning, all done for that. So with that being said, let me just check the YouTube. Everything looks good. All right. And I did this I believe the last update, I just showed this table of contents. Now I'm going to go in and give you some actual kind of like first page teaser. I'm going to try to avoid the pinups because there's some great stuff in there. Like real fast is a Jim Gullett double page spread. So I put John Molina at the front for his CROM the Barbarian in the Serpent's Lair. First 9 pages of his CROM story. John really knocked it out of the park like 2 or 3 times. The first thing he did was made this comic. He's never made a comic before. He's always aspired to. And by the way, this is the brother of David Molina. So if you know David's work, you shouldn't be surprised at the talent that's coming through with John Molina's CROM story. So the first thing was that he put himself out there and he put this amazing thing. The second thing is I had not announced to anybody, and none of my CROM updates did I announce that I wanted something in what I refer to as an Amerimanga. I didn't really want a manga per se, although I am going to work on something, try to get an actual mangaka or stylistically deal with getting a mangaka story. But back in the 80s, there were a lot of Americans making manga in America, and they had that hybrid between Japanese manga and American comics, and John just nails it. Then the third thing is he let me ink it. So these are my inks. I had this idea running, and it was making my own screen in Photoshop, placing it on the final inking 11 by 13 by 19 that I would print out, and then of course do my skeletal inking with my brush pen and my the high-tech C kind of rapidograph pens. So this is and two, by the way, this is the first 9 pages. Right now, John is anticipating about 17 for this story. And then, of course, we'll see where it goes there. He's been really working on some amazing stuff, some ninja stuff, samurai stuff. He's just really in there. So this is going to be a really, really exciting time coming in CROM Anthology number 2, because the other half of the story will be printed, inked by me, and then we'll see what other types of things that John Molina can get himself into. And so another story by me, Lala on the Time Machine. I had said today's Friday, Tuesday in the update that, I turned the PDF into a black and white, just black color for printing. That means the plate that it was going to be printing out technologically in at these printers and they're giving me this just amazing old school effect in a magazine, black and white magazine printed in like the 70s and 80s, and you can really see it in Lala on the Time Machine. Also, this story, when you get to it, please be forewarned. It's like 4 or 5 ideas that are going to be coming in other stories that I really wanted to rush out in CROM Anthology number 1 and share with the community, because these CROM anthologies are also manuals, just like my CROM collected 2024. It's 140 pages of just me and Fox and John Guinta, little Jack Katz. Of course, I had some great cover artists that ended up contributing to CROM Anthology number 1. But another thing I'm getting questions on, which is perfect, is how can I be a part of CROM Anthology, the community. I'm really pushing that you pick up copies of the books. If you have no prior connection with CROM the Barbarian, you get all 4 of the original CROM the Barbarian from 1950, Gardner Fox, John Guinta. So you have that to work from. I gave some youthful CROM 4 stories to try to just kind of bring him back to this really, really young, naive barbarian that, once again, is going to launch his career out into the world, his world, CROM's world, and then eventually end up falling into becoming a dark god. And of course, I have gone on and on with that dark god path thing, is that you want to, if you do anything reading wise, is read part 7 of CROM and the Warlock of Sharador, because this is where I introduce my mechanism for what begins his transition. I don't want to call it a downfall, because it's just his transition as a character and growth, for that. So with that being said, this is a real fun romp. One of the biggest arcs here is you do get Lala making a choice in going and finding her brother, who everybody believes, the Asir believe he is dead, and Lala refuses to believe that. So Lillian Chesney, this is a 1943 comic book in the public domain. Where is it? Here it is. I have to put the final touches. This will be collected as a full color. It unfortunately is not going to be released with CROM Anthology #1, but will be released very soon. If anything, probably in the mid-January. Maybe in December. It depends on my schedule and how things go. It's very, very close. There's just a couple of things I need. There's like 2 major adjustments I need to make to this. And then this is just going to be a really fun, throwback, because Sword Sorcery comes from the Arabian Nights. It's one of the things, fairy tales, Norse, Icelandic sagas. That's really where all of that fun Sword and Sorcery, classically being spoken, comes from. So I introduce that black and white. Full color is going to be the original, but I wanted to see it in black and white because I love black and white. Sinbad the Sailor. So it's the entire Sinbad the Sailor, I believe 12 pages. So really, really fun there. Now this is fun. I mentioned it last time. End of Lillian Chesney's Sinbad the Sailor, butts right into Jason Schoonover and I's CROM Dahar, which is like a modern fairy tale that has CROM as the star. So it just happened by accident. So such an amazing thing. Jason is just an amazing artist. On Instagram, he's like really at the top of who I go and search out to see what what he's working on. And he is just constantly motivating, inspiring, and taking chances. I see him taking these chances in the indie comic art making sphere, and I just adore what he's doing, and look forward to another CROM Dahar or CROM centric story to work with him. He did the writing primarily, the pencil laying out, and then I completed it in inks. So really excited to share that one. This is just a 4-pager, public domain. This is a James Anthony and myself inking, James Anthony pencils. But really wanted to get this in. Siegfried and the Dragon, once again, is another inspiration, motivational point to create Sword and Sorcery. I love the idea of magic, blacksmiths, swords being forged and such. And speaking of which, swords being forged, an amazing debut for Rick Frayne, and one of the models he works with, Zoe Angeli, and this spawn of Afgorkin, which is referring to the creation of Skullbiter, which I added the words, at the end. But this is a photo comic, and I was just turning in some art for a show at Rick's Gallery and Frame Shop with his partner Wendy, and we just really got off the ground running about the next installment from Rick. And so we're going to be getting together in December to start laying out that photo shoot. And this was a major playing element I wanted in CROM Anthologies, is the reproduction of photographs in a comic book storytelling framework. And of course, it having something to do with CROM and the world, and all the things going in there. So Spawn of Afgork and Rick Frayne and Zoe Angeli. CROM of Klarn. Probably have gone way overboard in explaining this one. 31 pages. It's actually 30 pages with 30 spot illustration. There's an additional illustration, like a large page illustration that I ended up having just been inspired to put in here. But once again, just like CROM and the Warlock of Sharador, you're dealing with some just fantastic information to have access to as a creator and pull from and do your own thing, make your own story and stuff. You can see a spaceship here. I think that was the large illustration. Actually, when I put this together, this first proof, I had not completed the inks on these spot illustrations, but did place them in just so I had a good feeling for it all. So really excited to share this story and just all the really cool elements that are being added to CROM's world. The God CROM, Dexter Jones, another individual who approached me, very enthusiastic about making a CROM story. There's 22 pages. I believe I did the first 7 pages. So, this is going to be just absolutely fun. There's a floppy going to be coming very soon. Not to put any pressure on Dexter, but I really want to see his floppy out there so people can get them ahead of time. But we're going to keep bringing God CROM, Dexter's version, just an amazing. One of the great elements is the prehistoric character, setting, that base. We talk about like being primitive culture, primitive mentality, caveman-like, and then rising up to become this god. He has a really amazing point of view on how that happens. That story goes about. And I'm, I say this a lot. I'm not controlling CROM the Barbarian other than for what it is that I want to create. He's a public domain character. You don't even have to contribute to CROM Anthologies, the community, cromthebarbarian.com. You don't have to. If you're seeing this and you're like, dude, I want to do my own thing, put out my own, but do it, and the whole idea that CROM is the god that Conan the Cimmerian worships, swears to, it's... There's going to be many stories that come out and have people saying, this is how I would see him becoming the God CROM, and this is one of them, and it's going to be pretty wild. Speaking to God CROM arcs out there is one out of Brazil. I'm trying to get a copy of. and I've seen a video on YouTube flipping through the book. It's in Spanish. I believe you can switch it over to a translation mode into English, but it's already happened. I mean, that's somebody has already established how that individual becomes CROM God and backs into Conan the Cimmerian's world, you know, so by Robert E. Howard. So that's that. I'm not going to show Stephen Sonnefeld's two-pager because I just don't want to show them right now. But Stephen's got a great breakup humor piece, you know, based on R. Crumb being a barbarian in a sword and sorcery world. So freaking great. Free comic book scripts. A lot have been downloaded, and I want to thank people, you know, having downloaded them. And we have one individual out there right now who's working on Stephen Sonnefeld's CROM in the World of Time, and that's coming along swimmingly. Watching that on Instagram, Nerd Artist Matt, I believe is what it is. I'll put a link down below. But it's very exciting. Motivational, these scripts. Don't have to be a slave to them. You can launch off of them. You know, they kind of, because they immediately are working out of what Stephen's been contributing to in the CROM community. It is a great place to get your you know, your pencil scratching on paper. So really cool thing. Of course, I've been going on and on and on about CROM Junior. The printing of the full color pages in black and white. Bingo, bingo. Love it. So I have additional stories that will be coming for that, for CROM Junior. And somebody has introduced CROM Junior to their story arc with CROM. So pretty freaking cool. So just got somebody, his name is Matt Burke, goes by Bat Merc. And we just, I signed him off and said, yes, you know, get that first 7 pages of your story together, and we'll get it in CROM Anthology #2. So really, really cool. You know, I put this out there, somebody picks it up as an element and sticks it in their story. Do it. Let's do it. Let's make this stuff. Have fun doing it. The Lord Dunsany adaptation by Dean Kotz. I came across this on DeviantArt, I think 2018 or something like that, somewhere around that period of time. Asked Dean through DeviantArt if he was printing it. He had no plans for it. CROM Anthology comes around, reach out to Dean. Hey, would you like to print it? He said absolutely, because he'd love to see it in print. So I'm having the opportunity to put this into print, and it can't be said how Lord Dunsany is one of those kind of 4 pillars, Arabian Nights and Icelandic sagas, fairy tales, and Lord Dunsany. If you got those 4 you know, manuals sitting around and you want to put your own sword and sorcery, you're done well. And of course, Dean Kotz is a major player in indie comics and comics in general as an illustrator. So I've been following him pretty much around this time from 2018, and just absolutely love his work. So to also have him in CROM Anthology is just a pure blessing. 8-page story, I believe. Want to introduce John Atkins Richardson. Do not want to forget the contributions, what little there were from this individual. Great little article I put together, getting familiarity, but he had a character called Maxor. It was basically printed through fanzines in the 70s, and I've gotten a hold of all but I think 1. I have to double check because I am going to start putting them out. I just did a gallery showing off his art, and so that's just what this little section is all about. CROM the Courageous, drawn sword. Contacts Ron Parsons for some writing. And we have the first 11 pages of a 3-part series, CROM Courageous. I have a huge amount of admiration with Drawn Sword's work. As a matter of fact, I was lucky enough to get 25 of the 100 limited edition printings that Drawn Sword put together. Dark concept art, intergalactic bounty hunters. Adore his work. Found him years ago through his website, Drawn Sword Graphics, and he was the second person I reached out to contribute to putting together a CROM virgin cover pinup. But I still have copies. They are selling in the pre-order, so I believe I've sold 2 or 3 already. I have a limited account right now. I think I've sold over 10 at this point, maybe even more. I have to take stock. Actually, no, I think I'm down to 5. Yes, I did. I got a low stock notification from the website Squarespace, and yeah, I only have 5 left of these right here. There's still 75 in New Zealand, but you know, Drawn Sword and I would have to work out getting those over here. Maybe another pre-sale campaign, or you know, kicking back into the sales of books, pre-sales of CROM Anthology. Who knows? Who knows? One of my favorite indie artists. Love having his work around to be able to pick up and be motivated. 11 pages of Drawn Sword amazingness. I'm going to talk about this later. I'm actually trying to get David more connected with his work from 1985, Rogan of the North. And I'm going to sit down and give a heck of a lot deeper thing. Ran across this through internet searching, connected with him. He said, yeah, sure, go ahead and reprint them. There's 6 of them, I believe, and they're like 8 pages long. But people might say, like, you know, not the most like high school art, right? And that's exactly why I'm printing it. Is we all, I would go ahead and assume, you know, high school is just that place where you start forming deep interests. And if you like yourself, like me, Savage Sword of Conan and Heavy Metal Magazine, become very, very connected and obsessed with. And of course, you want to make your own version. The story itself is nothing to shatter the earth, but I have to say the number one reason I wanted to, next to the feeling of somebody, you know, making something in high school and holding on to it and then still even trying to get it out there on the internet, you know what, 40 years later. That was actually probably 35 years. Very well, the storytelling is very, very well done. So don't skip this. Don't skip this one. Just got part 4 from Adam Bennett, CROM Altar of the Serpent, and the artistry of the high contrast black and white design, speechless. He's bringing everything to this story, and the arc being as long, I think he sent me up to 25 or 6, page 25, 26. So he's already 25, 26 pages in. I believe I'm only showing 7, which is always a sweet spot, by the way. If you want to get into CROM Anthology or submit something, 7 pages is a good starting place. So I just, Adam Bennett, I've mentioned this before, we'll say it again. was the first person next to Jim Gullett and Mike Helmer from Lucky Comics that was really working on accessible CROM material, you know, as a public domain and everything. And as a matter of fact, Adam, when he had a YouTube channel, got a copy of the smaller collection of my work and Gardner Fox and Gon Guinta's work, and did a review of it. It was on YouTube, so that was very kind, you know, and was really a part of you know, me wanting to build a community. And then, of course, once I was getting out to laying in who I would love to have in CROM Anthology 1, Adam was right there at the top of the list. And, of course, he was heading back towards making comics after taking a little bit of a hiatus, and can't be any more thrilled. CROM and Dravenus, Part 1, 4 pages, written by myself, introducing Dravenus, a character that is very integral to CROM ascending to godlike status, and had to have Ken Landgraf in CROM Anthology 1. And he is going to be in every anthology moving forward. I did a video called I Want to Ink Like Ken Landgraf, and he did, you know, some mentoring. He sent me the files that he uses for these zip screens, and, you know, gave me some feedback on what he saw as I was mimicking the pinup he had done for CROM 2024 collected, which is this masterpiece. So I redid this, and yeah, I got the screens, and it was just a very amazing. He's a very amazing artist and individual. And always look forward to got to meet him for the first time at IC3, and look forward to meeting him and spending more time with him to pick his the wealth of creative information that he has. Can't wait to get more of it. So a 4-pager, and then this is going to be another big project for 2026. I already have. This is one of 3 projects other than CROM Anthology that I have in the works. Adam Lemna and I are working on, and have been for over a year now. I have secured the rights from the Rays family. Frank Rays did this back in the late 70s, 3 issues. Silver Snail was out of Toronto, Canada. So get a little teaser here. And not only are Adam and I are just collecting the original material, but we're actually going to be working on a new ArtCon installment. So pretty darn exciting. We're going to have some great videos. We've been recording our journey in updates. So when we get closer to a release of this, well, I'll be releasing those videos to help promote and send that signal out and everything. But was happy that Adam was cool with me, you know, basically putting this out, you know, without any stress. The Visitor, Pat Boyette. Another personal goal of mine is to collect all of the Sword and Sorcery fantasy comic stories that Pat did, and get them into a collection. He has one of favorite comic book stories, if you will, which is called Carrion of the Gods. So I had to get a little 5-pager in here, and it has this Merlin kind of Dravenus type of character. So really wanted to include this and allow no one to forget. Then the rest of the book is 60 pages of artists that have contributed or will be contributing in the future, as well as I think I got everybody who contributed to the 3 issues of Brutal Blade of CROM. Project managed by Jamie Barrows. Just amazing. So you get a 2-page spread, and I'll show you in just a second, but really wanted to get these guys in the book. This is a separate publication. Jamie Barrows is leading that forward. Jamie and I are talking about quasi-collaborating or connecting the community, CROM, with Brutal Blade and everything, but nothing too heavy. But we'll be getting together to do that. In the interim, though, between now and Brutal Blade CROM 4, there's going to be a Blood Maidens, and this is one of the other things that I have myself signed up for, is putting I want to get this old female character of mine out of the storage, dust her off, and get a 7-ish page, 7, maybe 8, 9 page introduction to this character, release it in Blood Maidens, and then keep moving through with installments, further Blood Maidens and or CROM Anthology. Who knows? But so excited about what's going on with the Brutal Blade of CROM crew, as I call them. But just to give an idea, I try to get like their splash pages or a pinup that had been printed in one of these, and then some information about them, and then a QR code that would leap you to find out more about these incredible artists, because they're not only just CROM artists, they're indie artists. So they're in the trenches as we speak, making some amazing indie comics from there. So then, a very important piece of information. So everybody who wants to contribute, here's, like I said, an amazing way to really get yourself involved, get yourself motivated, get some inspiration, some information, is getting CROM Anthology #1 and or CROM 2024 collected, or any of the other CROM material, which I'm going to go over in just a minute. This is a revised addition to the opening call for collaborations and contributions. So collaborations would be not only with me, but it could be with somebody else. Like I had mentioned prior, Drawn Sword reached out to Rom Parsons, and the two of them got together, and Rom supplied an amazing text to Drawn Sword's concept, CROM the Courageous, and his art and everything. So you have this pretty decent way I have been dealing with collaborations and contributions. There's no financial compensation. In other words, I'm not paying a page rate. There's no royalties at this time, because the reality is Sword and Sorcery, indie comics, black and white magazine style, blah, 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 blah. It's a very small niche market that we're hoping to grow. And we should see some growth from what I started with CROM 2024 collected into the CROM Anthology #1. But at this point, you're getting copies of this at cost, and then selling them at cover price, or what you want to pay, sell them for when you're out there or online, to recuperate, and get some cash and everything. So a really great way to get a good understanding. But to be very, very clear, as I have been saying, if you have any questions or you want to propose an idea or talk collaboration or contribution, Kurt@CROMTheBarbarian.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Please don't rely on instant messaging through like Instagram, for instance. I do check it often, but sometimes not often enough. But Kurt@CROMTheBarbarian.com. I'm on all day when it comes to absolutely operating, this. So going to start tying up today. And I just want to say, for all those who have done the pre-order, thank you. If you are interested and you are not on the newsletter, please go over to cromthebarbarian.com, sign up. Tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon, I will be sending the last newsletter, which will have the link and the steep discount code. Also, too, there are other comics to be added to your order. I did a restocking on the Brutal Blade of Croms. Now, there's not a lot of them. When you think restocking, you're thinking 10 or 12. There's not a lot in there. And it's all going to be, first come, first serve. I had already mentioned as well, Scoundrel's Dread. Just got a notification. There's only 5 copies from the original 25 that got here. So if you'd like to add this to your order, this is probably going to be a really, really good time to do that. My CROM 2024 collection, that's there. Jim Gullett, as I've always said, he has an amazing, I love his CROM. His visuals on CROM had me back in 2018 when I first came across his work at Lucky Comics with Michael Helmer. The first 4 stories in this nice little collection. So I still have copies that restocked on that. Like I said, not a lot, but they're there so you can add to your order. Of course, one of my favorite comic book artists from YouTube and following somebody passionately on YouTube, Jeff Lafferty, his Berserko Knot, was able to get a couple of copies from him, have them in the store to help promote and move books for him. And the amazing artist. The art in this is very inspirational. Look, Frankenstein with the Guillermo del Toro has his out there, but really, really, and his Jeff Lafferty's YouTube channel is an art school in itself. So head on over there. Like I said, interviewed him over at Turbo Pit Fighter with Jake Jacobs and I in the Indie Creator Exchange interviews. You could also get Turbo Pit Fighter teasers. This is the second open printing from Mix'em that we have set up. So I do have copies. Look at them there, maybe like 5 or 6 of them still. But we'll most definitely be putting together another print run because that's a part of the exchange until we have Doom Magazine's #1. And once again, you are no longer allowed to get copies of CROM, the mock-up for the Anthology #1. 11 of them were sold. I printed 2 of them. That's 13 that are out there in the wild. This was just something I had to put together and had that thought like, well, why not just see if anybody wanted to buy. It would be cool if I sold 10, sold 11. So thank you everybody for being so passionate about supporting and collecting CROM. So freaking cool. But yeah, this is totally exciting stuff. I know it's a lot, and I just can't make it known how anxious I am right now, waiting on the final proof. Fingers double crossed. I mean, I think everything's going to be fine. Releasing into the wild. I know it's Thanksgiving week, but it's just the way it's all come together. And what I'm actually kind of curious is that people have the week off, so they're going to be on their phones more often, maybe sifting through Sora, cats with banjos on front porches with the ring on Instagram or TikTok or something. But we'll stumble across, hit the link, go over there and secure a copy over that week. But I'm going to run, so till the 24th of November to the 1st of December is one solid week. I'll be doing the release of thing. There's going to be a discount mechanism applied to that week, but it's not as steep as the one that I put on the pre-ordering for the community. It's why I'm doing this. Is I really want to put, I want people in the community to really feel the love. It's just not a sales mechanism. It's because they're that passionate and they want updates and they want to know what's going on, that they get that. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you with, I need some audio that I'm going to put over flipping through the book. I'll even probably grab it out of this video, that I'm going to be putting a video together for the indie creator update reels, which are over at the Turbo Pit Fighter YouTube channel. So I just want to read what CROM Anthology is all about, to have the audio so I can abstract it from there. I'm excited to be releasing CROM Anthology #1 into the world. It's a 256-page magazine-style, black and white sword and sorcery goodness, full of restored classics, brand new comics, public domain adaptations, and a 60-page artist gallery pulled straight from the community. See, doesn't work. All right, I'm going to do this later because I'm feeling a little run down as it is. So I'll just have to do it later. But I was going to try to read that. That's right. I'm not the best presenter, but I'm doing my best. So anyhow, thanks again for stopping by. If you were in the live, if you're coming back on a watch through on the full, thank you for getting this far on there. Please, if you have been on the newsletter, you have 2 newsletters that have already gone out that have the link of the deep discount. They might be in your spam folder. But other than that, wow, I didn't even get to that other topic, but I'm going to do that on Monday. I'm going to have a surprise. No, I'm not even going to tease you. You're going to see it. I'm going to be working on a pinup of Lala sword wielding, bum rushing us over next week, as I'm going to be doing a lot of live streaming to promote CROM Anthology #1. So other than that, thank you so very much for joining me, and I will see you on Monday. Have a great one.